back to 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in South America, where Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has announced her intention to return to Venezuela and challenge President Nicolas Maduro's successor in the 2026 presidential election. Her return represents a significant political development, signaling continued opposition to the continued government continuity left behind after Saturday's events, despite facing a potential risk of arrest or intimidation. Machado aims to restore democratic order and address Venezuela's economic crisis through peaceful means. From Reuters, quote, I aspire to lead a campaign aimed at restoring democratic order and addressing the widespread economic crisis that has plagued the country. Venezuelans must unite in these efforts against a dictatorship that has caused significant suffering, end quote. Next, we travel across the Atlantic to Kenya, where its economy has grown by 4.9% in the third quarter of 2025, demonstrating significant economic resilience. The growth was primarily driven by strong performances in agriculture, manufacturing, and service sectors. Favorable weather conditions and strategic government policies contributed to this positive economic trajectory, suggesting potential for continued development and recovery. From Reuters, quote, the third quarter growth reflects solid performance in several key sectors of the economy. Agriculture played a significant role in driving economic expansion, aided by favorable climate conditions and government initiatives aimed at boosting productivity, end quote. Next, we travel back across the Atlantic to Canada, where the Canadian dollar is experiencing a decline due to multiple economic pressures, including volatile oil prices and uncertain trade negotiations. As a major oil exporter, Canada's currency is particularly sensitive to energy market fluctuations, and the ongoing challenges suggest potential prolonged economic instability if current trends continue. From Reuters, quote, the Canadian dollar has faced persistent pressures this week as volatile oil prices create uncertainty over the nation's economic prospects. Financial markets are particularly sensitive to developments in the energy sector, given the integral role it plays in the Canadian economy, end quote. Next, we travel across the world to Malaysia, where former Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad, at 100 years old, has been hospitalized after suffering a hip fracture from a fall at home. Currently in stable condition, Mahathir continues to be a significant political figure despite his advanced age and history of health issues. His hospitalization has been closely monitored given his remarkable political career, which included serving as the world's oldest head of state at the head of government when re-elected at the age of 92. From Reuters, quote, while his hip injury is not deemed life-threatening, it underscores the vulnerability that comes with age. His family has expressed gratitude for the outpouring of support and well wishes from the public, emphasizing that he is receiving the best possible care from the medical team, end quote. Next, we travel south to New Zealand, who is conducting a comprehensive cybersecurity review following a significant medical portal data breach that exposed sensitive data information. The incident has raised serious concerns about data privacy and the vulnerability of health care systems to cyber threats. Government officials are committed to identifying and addressing security gaps to restore public confidence and protect personal health records. From Reuters, quote, the unfortunate reality is that cybersecurity risks are increasing across all sectors, and the healthcare system is not immune. We are committed to conducting a thorough review to identify gaps in our current systems and introduce measures that ensure a high level of protection for sensitive health records, end quote. And lastly, we turn to Europe, where the European Union is actively working to finalize the Mercosur, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, trade deal by the mid part of 2026, bringing together Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay, despite facing opposition from some EU member states concerned about environmental impacts and agricultural competitiveness. The EU is seeking to balance economic opportunities with sustainable goals. Negotiations involve complex diplomatic efforts to address concerns from both farmers and environmental groups while reducing tariffs and strengthening economic ties. From Reuters, quote, we are at a crucial moment, remarked an EU official close to the talks. By involving the agricultural ministers directly, we hope to address the industry's concern and underline the strategic importance of Mercosur for the European economy. End quote. And if you want to read any of today's articles in their entirety, they'll be linked in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Podfind, as well as the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post links to these episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and the normal podcast that comes out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe. Don't die.